Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 716. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Guys, I don't have anything prepped because this is just a weird week for Cinereelists.
Is it?
Why is that?
we're recording this week's episode on a Tuesday,
Right.
and then we're recording next week's episode in like 48 hours from now.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
So-
know what it is about the end of February, but we've
So
definitely.
you had extra time to prep. You had multiple days. You had 48 hours of extra prep time to come up with the perfect intro.
Instead, I was watching 5.5 hours worth of movies.
That's true.
Yeah. I sat down this afternoon to watch The Secret Agent, and it was 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. I probably should have looked at that earlier.
Oh, you watched that like this afternoon, James?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so it's fresh.
It's
Well,
it's very fresh.
I finished it. I finished it last night. I had to watch it in installments. Zach, you watched it yesterday also.
I watched it in one go. When did I text you about it? Yeah, was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday evening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing you texted me was, "Have you seen the leg part yet?"
Oh, we will get to that.
We will get to that. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We will get to that for sure. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 716. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk 2 Oscar-nominated movies this week. Movies that everybody on the podcast hadn't seen yet, that were kind of like high-ticket items, I would say, as far as the Oscars go, as well as just kind of catching up on, what do they call these movies?
Awards
Best Picture
contenders,
nominees.
Yeah. There's another
Oscar
word.
bait.
There's another word. Not exclusive, but prestige films.
Prestige.
Prestige films. Films that exist to gain prestige and reputation.
These films are art.
Yeah, I mean,
Cinema.
to be honest, the only people that are watching them are people who are into that type of thing, right? It's not like these are mainstream movies that your
I
average
think
moviegoer goes
Hamnet
to.
might be more mainstream than you think. I'm not saying Hamnet's like Avatar, but
Sure.
I think there's a wider audience for Hamnet than your traditional prestige Oscar film.
Yeah, maybe. That could be. Yeah, and like prestige Oscar. I mean, F1 is like nominated for Best Picture. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to call all the nominees prestige films. I like F1, by the way, but I would not consider that a prestige film.
Not at all.
Um,
No.
But the other 9 on there are pretty lesser known movies, I think, by the mainstream for the most part. Some more than others, definitely. But regardless, we're talking The Secret Agent and Hamnet this week. 2 Oscar movies, so we can check those off the list. Before we jump into those, we need to remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Subscribe and watch while you listen. You could also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Support the podcast, get extra after show audio, amongst other Cinereelist swag. You could leave us an Apple Podcast review, 5 stars only. We'd appreciate that. Or send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com. Link in the description with that email address, as well as all those other action points. Send us an email with a comment, question, list suggestion, movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. And we will likely discuss it on a future episode of the podcast. All right. You guys ready to jump into our first movie for this week?
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The first one is called The Secret Agent. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
Ô, é pra completar? Pode ficar tranquilo, tá tudo em ordem aí. É pra completar?
Rapaz. É, pra completar, mas. O que é aquilo ali?
Isso foi domingo. Um infeliz aí veio roubar uma lata de óleo com a peixeira na mão. A Rivanete, que é o menino que trabalha aqui à noite, pegou lá 12 e deu 2 TB. Uma na caixa dos peitos e outra na cara e não levantou mais. Esse é um meliante. Mereceu. Pode ficar tranquilo que sua cliente é bem atendida aqui. Não tem nada a ver com isso.
That was The Secret Agent, or in Portuguese, O Agente Secreto.
Probably Secreto.
I think. Yeah, I don't know Portuguese, if that wasn't apparent enough yet.
No Spanish, but I don't know if it's pronounced the same as Spanish. So
Sure.
To me, Portuguese sounds like Spanish and French, like had a baby.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. The Secret Agent is a 2025 neo-noir historical political thriller, according to Wikipedia. Directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho. And starring Wagner Moura.
Wagner.
Wagner Moura. That seems like a weird name, right? For like a Spanish dude. Wagner.
He's a Brazilian dude, and it's not for Brazilian dude. It's not a weird name.
Okay. I don't know that many Brazilians, to be honest. Carlos Francisco Tania Maria Ribeiro Diogenes and other people, including Udo Kier, Kier. I forget.
Oh, Kier, you're right the first time.
Yeah, Udo Kier, who has actually been in a ton of movies that a lot of people have seen. He plays kind of the Jewish guy who gets teased about being a German.
Yes,
I would say. That guy's all over movies from the 80s and 90s. Normally as the bad guy.
This was his last role.
Yeah, he passed away. I
didn't realize he had passed away.
Yeah. The official IMDb plot synopsis for The Secret Agent is: in 1977, a technology expert flees from a mysterious past and returns to his hometown of Recife in search of peace. He soon realizes that the city is far from being the refuge he seeks. What do you guys think of The Secret Agent?
I was pretty excited for this movie.
Okay.
Mostly because of Wagner Moura. He's a great actor. I like him. He's done like Brazilian things like the Elite Squad movies. I like him in that. And then he's been doing more mainstream stuff. Like he was Narcos. He was in Warfare. So he's definitely a favorite actor of mine right now.
When I look at him, that's all I think about is his Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar, yeah. Because he's great at Narcos. So.
Unfortunately, he was so good in that I'm not sure. He'd have to be in a lot more things to erase my memory of that whenever I see him. But anyway, go ahead.
Check out the Elite Squad movies, both the first and the sequel. They're both really good.
Will do.
Anyway, so I didn't really know much about this movie besides it was a Brazilian period piece and it was called The Secret Agent. And I wasn't quite sure it was like a spy thriller or what we were getting into. And there's a lot of interesting dressing or set dressing to this movie. Like this movie, it totally feels like it takes place in the 70s. Like this does not feel like a Hollywood production. Like, oh, we're in the 70s now. Like everything, the clothes, the people. I love the supporting cast in this movie. It's just like a bunch of normal faces, normal people. The city that they're in, everything about this movie just like felt like the 70s, and I was immersed by that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Wagner Moura, obviously great actor, but I was not immersed by the story because for me, like this story seems so rooted in Brazilian history, but it's not giving you the context of the history.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like there's a lot of allusions to what's going on and maybe a lot of like hints if you're familiar with exactly what's going on. But as a outsider, I felt like I had to do a lot of the work of trying to fill in some of the pieces of this movie, both on like the greater scale of what's happening and also sort of directly what's happening in the plot. So as much as I was enjoying the vibe of this movie, I had trouble really engaging into it. Like, in fact, I watched 2 hours of it, had to take a break. And after those 2 hours, I was like, I mean, I'm going to finish this, but I wasn't super jazzed to finish it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just think there was, for me, is maybe a little too subtle or a little too easy handed. Like I was thinking, I was comparing this movie in my head to like Killers of the Flower Moon, right? Which is another period drama about a piece of history I was not very familiar with. Now I'm an American, so maybe it was easier for me to like fill in some of the gaps on that one. But like Killers of the Flower Moon, I felt like, oh, I really understood the context of what is setting up the events of this movie. And with Secret Agent, I just felt like I was missing that context, either because I don't know it or because the movie wasn't giving that to me. And it was maybe expecting the audience to have more knowledge than what it's giving to it to you.
Mhm.
So I just felt like this movie kind of kept me at arm's length through most of it.
The
Zach?
title kind of threw me off
Yeah.
because as things are happening, I'm like, oh, he's a secret agent. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like so for half the movie, I'm like, okay, I know what's going on here. He's a secret agent, and he's pretending not to be, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And so it was like I was constantly looking around each corner to find out the reveal about the secret agent, kind of a thing. In a way that, like, usually a title does not throw me off, but this one, for whatever reason, I guess it was so straightforward
Mhm.
that it did throw me off. What I do agree with Kyle on is the setting is so well constructed. So like if you were to think of a Netflix movie, right? It has a certain particular type of lighting and color tone and everything to it
Yeah.
that regardless of what the movie is, it maintains. This movie is the opposite of that in the sense of it does not feel generic. It feels so specific to that setting and time. It felt so real. Like it was perfectly it looked perfect.
Mhm.
And the acting across the board was perfect. I mean, every actor just felt embodied and real and authentic. And it just felt so authentic the whole time. Everyone just felt like no one was acting, no one was playing a character. It's just maybe in a procedural sense, like they just felt like real people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is impressive. And a lot of people can't do that. And this movie did do that, which is very cool, very, very cool. And that's a lot of actors too. A lot of people were involved. I will say to Kyle's point about it not grabbing him story wise, it also didn't really grab me or really entertain me. There were things that I was curious about that I wanted to see how they resolved or how they fit in, or there was high points that I thought were the most interesting bits, kind of a thing. But I was really surprised that this movie warranted 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I just wonder what decision making the director and the editor made. Like what did they just when you talk about screenwriting and you're like, okay, take everything that's essential and cut out everything else. You know what I mean? It's like when you hear about screenwriting, you just hear constantly about like pare it down, pare it down, pare it down to only what has to be there and kill your babies and all those kind of things. Darlings, I don't know what they say.
Yeah. No, they say kill your babies.
Yeah. And this movie, it didn't feel like it's meandering or like, things are pointless. Like it all like fit with the vibe and the story and the pacing and all that. But it's just like, how, for any given scene, how did they process in their head? Like, okay, this is the right length. We need more. We need less. It just kind of, it seemed it was all just happening, but like I didn't know what the most important bits were at any given time, except for a few temples.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can't say I really enjoyed watching this movie, even though I respect the performances quite a bit. There's certainly interesting things that happened in it. The ending felt pretty ho hum to me. I don't know if it was like a, a grandiose ending to the whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. I was kind of left with a meh response to it. But I'm curious what James thought.
I mean, this is going to be pretty boring because I think I generally agree with both of you. I think we're all pretty much on the same page here.
Yeah.
There's a lot to respect about this movie for sure. I'll try not to just parrot what you guys have said, but it's all there. All the pieces are there. Even the story, like I can't even really punch too many holes in the story. It made sense in the end, and they never. I mean, maybe that's the quote unquote problem of the movie, is that it never quite twists you in any direction. It felt like it was subtly playing with you at the beginning, and that this movie was going to maybe turn into something that it wasn't presenting itself as. And then when it did that in ways you weren't expecting, they weren't doing it in ways that affected the main plot line. And so by the end of it, you really only have a couple of weird things to hang your hat on and the main plot line. And when the main plot line, not that it didn't pay off, it's definitely not your Hollywood payoff for sure. And I hate to like slam a film for not ending in a blaze of glory and spending half the budget on the final sequence or whatever, but this movie does not do that. It quietly goes into the light. You know what I mean? At the end, for the most part. And that's just what this movie is, for better or for worse, depending on who you are, I would say. And I don't think it was necessarily worse. It just, like you guys said, at 2 hours and 40 minutes, I was ready for a little variety. And in the end, I think it tried to deliver that with the weird leg subplot line. But the main plot line, the one that I actually, when I was invested in, it just it ended in a very realistic way, which also means it ended in a kind of predictable, boring way.
Yeah. The leg subplot fell out of place to me.
I'm not even sure I fully understand what they were doing there.
Well, I got the impression that the leg was probably tied to another murder.
Sure. I understood that part.
Right. But then there's some weird lore about this killer
hairy leg attacks. Yeah.
The hairy leg attacks, which is like in the newspaper. And I wasn't quite connecting those two dots.
And then the park scene, was that like supposedly a scene from a real movie or just a hallucination, or what was the park scene?
My take on the park scene was that it was a mythical scene that lived in the imaginations of the newspaper reading public.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Possibly that scene was described in an article at some point.
That was the most interesting part of the movie to me at that point of watching it. Like I had gotten over the ooh and ah of the cinematography and the costumes and the settings.
Yeah.
And I mean, although they did ooh and ah me multiple times, when like 3/4 of the movie was done and all of a sudden we were in like a printing press, I was like, where'd they find a working printing press that old? I was like, wow. I mean, probably there's places in the US that still have those, but probably not many.
Maybe in Brazil there are.
Yeah, maybe in Brazil there's more working, 1970s style printing presses. But yeah, I had gotten over all of that. And then the park scene showed up and I was like, oh, this movie's about to get weird. And then it did for a few minutes and then went back to the storyline. I was like, okay, I guess.
And there were definitely tonal things going on, like with that shark vet or whatever. There was like some dark comedy things happening when the rest of the movie does not have. I mean, there's definitely elements there, but
it was strange, but it was strange with a boring rapper. And so the rapper was 2 hours and 40 minutes long. And so it just kind of, the strangeness didn't keep it afloat for me.
And so I would say this about when you're watching a foreign film, so you're doing the subtitles, whatever, there's two types of those, right? There's the kind of slow, languid foreign films where you have time to soak in the visuals and read the subtitles because of the pace. And this one was actually fairly quick as far as like conversation goes. Like it was pretty full. And so you're reading the majority of the runtime and not really soaking in the visuals as much because you're so much reading.
Yeah.
And so for such a long movie, you
It's a lot of reading.
You don't have any little breaks built in.
So you're saying that we should learn Portuguese, become fluent, and then we can enjoy this movie more, possibly.
Well, I mean, you're joking, but like I think a Portuguese native speaker would enjoy this movie more for sure.
Yeah, I was. I mean, yes, I was half joking, but also half serious. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Go ahead, Kyle.
One thing I did like about this movie is sort of the homage to 70s cinema that was all over it.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that.
both, and it was, I mean, a good chunk of this movie took place in an actual movie theater in a projection room. There, Jaws is playing at the time, and there's obviously allusions to Jaws throughout the movie with sharks and whatnot. King Kong was playing. I think The Omen was playing at one point too. So
yeah,
there was definitely, nods on screen to moments in kind of movie history from the 70s, but also just explicit movies from that era being shown on screen too. And I mean, to me, that felt like, I'm assuming the director was probably 9 years old around the time, like this movie, in the late 70s. So probably some of his memory of like all these movies coming out and him wanting to be interested in them and using those parallels in his own movie.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. The director is 57. So in 77, he would have been 10. So
there you go. That's exactly.
You nailed
which
it.
is
nailed it.
Same age as the son in the movie. So
yeah. I mean, I think if it wasn't for the leg scene in the park and the connection to movies, those floated me at times when I want to use the word bored. But that
you could
that
say bored.
feels
It's okay.
mean because I don't think necessarily it was boring. I wasn't necessarily bored by the movie. I never felt like, oh, I need to shut this off. I was invested to take it all the way to the end. But at the same time, he is the least secret agent I could imagine. He from what I can tell, just a dude who like is good with technology, who is involved in a resistance that the current government does not like people who are involved in. And so now he's in hiding and trying to, escape the eyes of the government with his son. That's the plot. There's other things they mix in there, but that's what you're going to get. A normal guy kind of trying to navigate leaving town with his son. It was interesting, but I don't know. Did you guys ever catch I'm Still Here from last year?
I have not.
You guys should watch that.
It's on my watch list, though.
That is also a Brazilian movie set in Brazil, same time period. That has a story that will sing, I would say, compared to Secret Agent. It doesn't have any of the wackiness that has, that occasionally pops up in Secret Agent, but very, very good, and will give you the same vibe while also having a story that's a lot more engaging.
Could probably do a list of Brazilian cinema someday.
Yeah, I really don't have too many. City of God is Brazilian. That's like a top 100 movie for me.
Yep, City of God.
Isn't that like a top 10 for you, James?
I think it is top 10. If not top 10, it's top 25. I'd be shocked if it's any lower than that.
I saw one last year. It was like Journey to Mars, or it was something about Mars was in the title.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a sci-fi. It was a family drama, but it was good.
I searched movies from Brazil, and there is not many that I recognize. So it's definitely a blind spot for me. Sure, there's some good ones in here that I just have never heard of, never seen.
I've seen Black Orpheus.
That's an older movie, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
Really interesting.
I recognize the name just because I think it's a Criterion movie.
Sure. Yeah. It takes place during Carnival.
Okay.
Just like this movie
Um,
took place during Carnival.
I've seen City of God. Those might be my only Brazilian.
I kind of wish there was like more chases, more gunfights, more actual secret agent stuff. That would have like spiced up the 2 hours, 40 minutes. They don't even have to be like good chases. Yeah, just a little more of him almost getting caught somehow, some way. Because when the movie heats up, like in the last 40 minutes, it did. I did lock in a little bit with it, but it took a while to get there. Took a long while to get there without really giving us a whole lot of more information about who he is and stuff like that.
And there's a build to a climax which doesn't deliver. We'll put it that way.
I mean, if you consider what came before it, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it's not like they built it up like you were gonna get some like big explosion at the end or anything.
No, but I would say in the last third of the movie, that's when all the machine kicked in, and we actually had violence, and there was your closest thing to a chase.
Sure.
And I think that's sort of when it was do or die time for our main character. Like throughout the whole movie, he's kind of like trying to figure out when is the right time.
I think I've seen too many Bourne movies because like Bourne plays as as like a normal guy too, and then all of a sudden he has kick butt powers type of thing, and so Wagner Moura is kind of chill in this movie and kind of like, oh, I'm just a technologist, I just did my part in the revolution type of thing, and then I knew the movie wasn't going to do it, but I wanted it to. Then all of a sudden he pulls out a pen and, stabs the guy 20 times. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
all I have is this newspaper. What am I going to do?
All right. It's just not that movie.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's fair. It doesn't have to be that movie, but I am definitely conditioned to want that at the end of my movies. For sure. Because that's kind of how I felt at the end of this one. I just want it to go farther, and it not the direction it was going, a totally different direction, but I wanted it to pay off bigger than it did, I think. Okay. Anything else for The Secret Agent? I feel like we dogged on this. It's a very well constructed movie for what it is. It's probably not the spy movie for me.
Oh yeah, and that's why I gave it 4.5 stars.
Really? 4.5? Okay, I was gonna say that would be shocking.
No, I think I'm at a 3.5. I was waffling between a 3 and a 3.5, and for me, the setting and the cast gave it that extra little bump. Sure. Where if you didn't have that, I would have just been completely bored of this movie, checked out of it. But at least there's interesting people on camera.
This is gonna be a little shocking, but my rating system is how much I enjoyed a movie, right? If I loved a movie, liked a movie, didn't like the movie. So this is a 2-star movie for me. Because I didn't hate it, but I didn't totally enjoy the experience. If I knowing what I know now, would I be sad if I never saw this movie? I don't think I'd be a little sad. Not heartbroken,
Sure. I'm with you. I also gave it a 3.5. Mostly because I respect the visual craft of the film and the acting. Yeah. And the storyline was what it was. Is this based on a real person? That might also be the reason why it didn't end in a Jason Bourne style.
I don't think it's based on a real person, but it's definitely based on real events. It's based on history.
Sure. Yeah. Before we move on to our next movie, this movie is Academy Award nominated. How do we feel about it being a Best Picture nominee? I'm surprised, if I could use one word.
Yeah, I mean, I would Would I trade this for F1 if I had to drop one?
Sure.
It's a good question. I guess I was, after seeing, I'm surprised that it did not click with me as much as I thought it would.
Mhm.
Considering this has multiple nominations, right? It's not just Best Picture.
Yeah, it also has Best Actor. I think that's why it has Best Picture.
Yeah.
I think Wagner Moura is very good in it.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
people like him.
Yep.
And the 1-2 punch of those two things overcame probably a storyline that I think a good deal of people will not vibe with. I don't even think the story is really the issue. It's the story combined with the runtime that's the issue.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes its time.
The other two nominations it got was for Best Casting. I think that's totally appropriate.
Sure.
Yep.
100%. Not only Wagner Moura, but like all the other Brazilian actors in this felt like lived in people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Best International Feature Film. Sure. Why not? I'm fine with that.
It seems like they're I don't know. I don't know the strategy, but I feel like you're splitting your vote if you go for both Best Picture and Best International Feature.
Well, I don't think you nominate yourself for Best Picture. I think that's just people voting for the nominee for who they want to be nominated.
Interesting, because you do submit for Best International Feature, right?
Right. You submit for that, but I believe you qualify for Best Picture. So you do have to do some work to make sure you qualify. Meaning you have to show for like 2 weeks in New York, Chicago, or LA, I think, are the three.
I think it's 2 weeks in both coasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised enough people in the Academy saw this in order to nominate it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I think it's been in the festival circuit like all year. So, but yeah, I read a blog post or maybe a newsletter about Neon, the studio Neon. You know, Neon is like wiping the floor at the Oscars lately.
Did not know.
No.
There's like, if you look at the Best Picture nominees this year, multiples of them are Neon releases. Neon released Parasite and a couple others.
Oh, yeah.
It's all foreign films. They've basically invaded the Academy Awards with foreign films, essentially. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you guys, and
Yeah, but curious to read that.
link it in the show notes if I can find it. It's a good read. All right, let's move on to our next movie for this week's episode. It's a movie titled Hamnet. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
Show me your hand.
What do you see?
I see you grown, and very strong. And I see you in London working with your father
In the theatre.
at the Playhouse.
What will I be doing?
What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I shall be one of the players with a sword.
Sword?
Yes, and I shall clash it against the sword of the other player.
Show me.
There'll be a terrible fight, and everybody watching will be frightened out of their wits.
And who will win?
I shall, of course.
Of course you shall.
That was Hamnet, a 2025 biographical period film directed by Chloé Zhao. This movie stars Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal, Emily Watson, and Joe Alwyn. Very white names that I can pronounce.
Okay.
The official IMDb plot synopsis.
I would skip the first clause just because I think it's a spoiler.
I mean, maybe I'm not sure I can read this at all.
Yeah, you don't need to. We can.
Let's say
spoilers
this.
if you want.
We will read the plot synopsis when we go into spoilers. For now, we'll just talk in short about the movie in general, what we liked about it in general, no spoilers, and then we'll go into spoiler chat here pretty quickly, and we'll let you guys know. For now, I'm not giving you the plot synopsis. If you don't want to know anything about the movie, do not go to IMDb and read the plot synopsis because it definitely has what I would consider spoilers in it.
Fair.
What'd you guys think of Hamnet broadly? Kyle?
Zach? Me? I'll go. Sure. I'll
I mean,
go.
you don't have to, but you've been going first. So
I guess I'll go first again. I really enjoyed Hamnet. This movie I could connect with. I'll admit that Shakespeare is not my jam.
Mhm.
I've studied Shakespeare. I've seen Shakespeare live. You know, it's been a part of my education my whole life.
Sure.
My in-laws are huge into Shakespeare. That we have there's a repertory theater up here that they go to like 5 times every summer to see various Shakespeares and have opinions on the actors and the performances and all that. And occasionally I'll go along with them. But this is maybe the most I've enjoyed watching Shakespeare since like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Now, very different. I'm not saying this is not like the same presentation as a Baz Luhrmann movie. Very different presentation. But for me, it's like I've had a complete turnaround on Jessie Buckley in the last couple of years, and this movie I think is the final nail in that coffin of Jessie Buckley knows what she's doing.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean the emotion, just the raw emotion she shows in this movie is so powerful. Same for Paul Mescal, which I was surprised was not nominated for this movie, but I thought he's also pretty powerful. He has his moments too. There are some kid actors in this movie who I thought were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the cast was strong all across the board. And I mean, I think there's a lot I want to talk about in spoilers about the look of the movie, the characters, more about Shakespeare itself, which we can get into. So yeah, I found this movie to be incredibly moving and incredibly enjoyable. I don't know if enjoyable is the right word. I was fully invested in this movie for its entire runtime.
Nice. I found this movie to be really enjoyable. It's super well acted. I mean, it certainly has a plot that goes through an arc, and you know what I mean. Like it tells a complete package story. At the center of this film is like a conceit, right? Like here's an idea. Like let's explore what if this is the case. You know, like what can we read into Shakespeare and his plays from this like historic marker. And I enjoy that idea. I enjoy when movies do that. I thought this movie did it really well. It has a great sense of place. Like, you know, this felt like Tudor England to me, or, you know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Queen Elizabeth, was she a Tudor?
Yes.
I know it's
she
Tudor
was
housing. So
she was a Tudor. Yeah, you know, Chloé Zhao really messed up the
well,
look
I'm
of this
probably
movie.
using the wrong terminology. But you know,
were the Tudors post on that. Anyway, I know what you're talking about.
Famously like Shakespeare in Love, just because I think it's a fun, ripe time for cinema. Like to show that time in England, in the 16th century, is just it photographs really well. And it's a really good stage for an interesting story. And then we get some cool characters. We got this like, you know, forest witch woman kind of thing. And I didn't know this was about Shakespeare. So I'm watching the movie and it you know, it took me 20 minutes to connect some dots and like, oh, that's William Shakespeare. Nice. And then the ending is awesome. The ending's great.
Yeah.
It really nails it. And you know, it hits all the notes that you didn't expect it to hit and does. You know what I mean? Like so it's great. Yeah, no major complaints about the movie. Yeah, I liked it.
Zach, the Tudor era was 1485 through 1603 with the death of Queen Elizabeth I. So
Perfect.
because it wasn't then the Victorian era after that.
Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
So, nice.
I already kind of gave my broad thoughts on this on the top 20 of 2025
did, yeah.
episodes, so we don't have to go too far into this, but I clearly liked it as well. I think it was my second favorite movie from last year or something like that. It was up there. And I enjoyed it for all the reasons you guys have said as well. I don't really have much to add that's spoiler free. Other than if you like good dramas, that's what this is for sure. It also weirdly has mild touches, very mild touches of like The Witch in it. And a couple other things.
Oh, with the forest, yes.
Yeah, just a couple other things that just make it off kilter a little bit, enough that when things start really happening in the movie, I was unsure of what was reality and what was interpretation, and I loved all of that. You know what I mean? Just kind of living in the confusion a little bit. And then on top of that, the characters are confused as far as what's happening too. There's one character who is pretty sure they know exactly what's going to happen, and then things sometimes work out that way and sometimes they didn't for that person. And I felt also confused by the movie in the best kind of ways at times, because I assumed things would head in one direction, and then normally they would twist it in a way I never imagined it would be twisted. So when movies can do that to me, it's good. So that the movie has that going for it, and then the last 20 minutes is just like killer. It's what I'll remember the most about movies in 2025 is probably the last 20 minutes of this movie.
Well, I love when movies recontextualize something you're familiar with and give it just a new patina, you know?
Sure.
I love that.
No, this movie made me think about Shakespeare in a completely new way that I had never considered his work or influences before, or even his words.
Not as like kids material, but like something for adults. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say this is a kids movie. There's kids in it. A lot of kids read Hamlet. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's a kids movie too. You guys should show it to your kids and let me know what they think about it.
I definitely will be showing it.
I showed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to my kids, and that was too much for them. So
yeah, that's. I rewatched that with Galen, like in the last year. And I was like, I don't think I actually like this movie.
Oh, really?
It's kind of gross and icky. Like they're all wet the whole time and muddy, and I don't know. I didn't like the moistness of the movie.
Did you notice the proto Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah. Max, what's his? Oh yeah, he's the guy who plays
the neighbor.
The neighbor. He plays Max Headroom. That's what he's most known for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very much was the Jim Carrey persona that came later. You know what I mean?
There is a theory that Jim Carrey took a lot of his influence from that actor who I can't think. I mean, he's got if I could think of his name, you'd be like, oh, I've heard that name before.
Sure.
But yeah, he's definitely got Jim Carrey energy to him, or Jim Carrey has Russ the Neighbor energy, Max Headroom energy.
Do you think people, when you say Max Headroom, how many people listening do you think know what you're talking about?
Oh, I'm saying Max Headroom to the audience in front of me, you two.
Okay.
I would say if you know what Max Headroom is without Googling it, either email us to say, I know what this is, or say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like Max Headroom is a very specific thing that people in the 80s knew about. And then it went away and completely disappeared from the public consciousness.
I don't think we're done with Max Headroom.
I think we're pretty done.
I think he is going to become a cultural touchstone within the next 4 years.
No. He was always just a weird MTV oddity, even at the time. Like if you asked my parents who Max Headroom was, they didn't know. It was only young people that knew who he was.
Was he MTV?
I mean, that's what I knew him from.
Okay.
I don't know if he was directly MTV, but my brain always equated him with MTV.
All right. Sorry to rail us with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's all right. It's okay. Okay. Anyway, anything else on Hamnet or Max Schreber?
I'm good, spoiler free, but I definitely have more to talk about.
Sure.
Spoilers with Hamnet. You good, Zach?
Yeah. Let's get into it. Should we letterbox it first?
Let's letterbox it. I gave this movie 5 stars.
Whoa.
I gave this movie 4.5 stars.
I gave it 4 stars.
All right. Can't wait to hear y'all's criticism of it. In spoilers, which we're entering right now. So if you have not seen Hamnet and you don't want to be spoiled, you should pause it and come back to this after you've seen it. If you have seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, then listen on, because we're about to say whatever we want about the movie and detail the plot and everything that IMDb shouldn't have told you in the plot description. We're going to tell you right now, because I'm going to read the plot description. Here we go. The plot description, according to IMDb, of Hamnet is: after losing their son, Hamnet, to plague, Agnes and William Shakespeare grapple with grief in 16th century England. A healer, Agnes, must find strength to care for her surviving children while processing her devastating loss.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
short of saying it was supposed to be the sister, but actually the son died, they pretty much spoiled everything
yeah.
the movie has to offer as far as a major plot line.
I'll say I went into this movie knowing more or less that plot line.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew a child was going to die, and I kind of figured it was probably be the boy because his name is Hamnet.
Okay.
And then, although they never call, I don't think they ever actually refer to Paul Mescal as Shakespeare. They even call him William. They even give him a name in the movie.
They do refer to him as Shakespeare later on, after he's like been in London for a while. Then they're like, then they start talking about the theater and the round. You know what I mean? There's like more clues. And then eventually somebody says the name Shakespeare.
Okay. But when he first appeared on screen, I was like, oh, that must be Shakespeare in this movie. So like I definitely knew something's going into it. And maybe that's a bit of that half star loss right there, is like, maybe if I had gone completely blind, it would have been a little bit different.
Maybe.
But that being said, it's still a tragic thing what happens. And like I mentioned this in my non-spoiler review, the emotion that Jessie Buckley gives to that moment. Hey, like you said, James, how she thought things were going to work out one way. Right. And then, she has this premonition. I will, when I die, I will have 2 children by my side.
Yeah.
And first she's giving birth to what she thinks is her second child, and there's twins. And then she thinks one of the twins is dead. And, just like that whole emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then that's the fragile one. And then that one's going to die. But then it's like, she played that so well, just sort of that, even though you kind of figured out where this was going, her emotional roller coaster was done so incredibly well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed this. Through most of the movie, she's wearing like kind of bright red dresses, which again felt very like witchy compared to like how muted and green everything was. And then after Hamnet died, like her clothing just turned to brown. It just went drab, and it lost its life. And I thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was a nice little touch to like inform where this character is right now.
I didn't notice it, but I can't wait to notice it the next time I watch.
I think she's got a red dress in the last scene.
Yes, in the last scene, the red dress comes back.
Maybe to make her stand out amongst the crowd.
Right, exactly. And maybe show like the emotional catharsis that last scene brings her.
Yeah.
So
that could be. I went in knowing nothing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was a period piece. I knew by the name that it was somehow related to the play Hamlet. I thought Hamnet was like a made up word, and maybe this was like fan fiction.
Sure.
Related to the play or something, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, style, or maybe 50 Shades of Grey, but like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies style.
It's a very clunky name.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the ceiling pig in the Simpsons movie, Spider Pig.
Spider Ham.
Yeah. It just felt like a Simpsons joke.
Hamnet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I knew the movie wasn't that, but whenever I see the name Hamnet, it reminds me of a Simpsons joke for some reason. I don't even watch The Simpsons, but yeah. And then I watched the movie and I was like, I don't remember the details of Hamlet, but it didn't seem like it was following it very close. And so I was like, well, it's not like a Pride and Prejudice and Zombies spin on Hamlet, evidently. Yeah. It's just, I guess, in the same time period or something like that. I hadn't seen a trailer or anything, just like poster type stuff.
Sure.
And then the witchy vibes started playing in, and I was like, is this like a backdoor horror movie? Are we going to get crazy with this or what? And then it does get crazy, but not, it kind of toes the line between the idea that she does have some kind of mystical power. I don't think they ever completely rule that out.
I mean, she's definitely
granted that she did.
She definitely was like of the earth in the sense where she was like making poultices and understood how herbs worked. And
sure.
You know, so probably the closest you could have to a witch of that era, whether she had actual mystical powers or not.
I mean, her premonition was right.
Yeah.
She did lose a child. It was never the one she expected, but she was right that she would only have 2 children.
And she seemed to be like of this unknown providence of like where she came from, who her parents were, almost like she was born of the wood.
Yeah, I also didn't know Shakespeare was going to be a character in this movie. And so to me, that was a reveal over time that like, oh, Paul Mescal is actually Shakespeare. I don't know pretty much anything about the Shakespeare, the human. And so I don't know how well this mirrors what's known of his life. Did he have a child die?
Or he had 3 kids. One of them died.
Okay.
Yeah. His name was Hamnet.
And is this even attempting to tell a real story about that, or just taking that detail and running with it?
Running with it. I mean, the truth is he had 3 kids. One of them died at 11 or whatever. Then a couple years later, he wrote Hamlet. And that Hamnet and Hamlet are the same name. They're spelled the same. Like they're interchangeable back then. Like those are the details. And then it's like
everything else they've
speculate.
Kind of filled in. Yeah.
But like,
that makes sense.
It's kind of odd that he wrote Hamlet right after. And it didn't have anything to do with his son that just died. Do you know what I mean? That would be super odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely speculative fiction, but
sure. So I enjoyed all the discovery in that, and I was not expecting the movie to go to the London of the day and go to the theater in the round.
Oh, the Globe Theater, yeah.
That I've actually been to, once.
I got to see a play there once, which was awesome.
Nice. I just walked around it, but it was cool to see that presented, and then the play scene happens, and it's so good at being heart-wrenching, I would say. Have you guys seen that video of the cast partying on that stage, like dancing around and singing a song together? It's so good. I'll send you that,
please,
as well. It's fun to watch after you've seen the movie to realize like they created a environment where it wasn't all just the worst emotions a person could have. You know what I mean? They clearly protected themselves over the course of filming, probably what took a while to film. But yeah, that final scene blows me away every time I think about it. And I think the majority of it is Jessie Buckley, but also like Paul Mescal is, backing her up in every sense of the word. And Chloé Zhao, I said it when we talked top movies of 2025. These are the movies I want her making. Just make weird little dramas where she could throw in her own little flourishes and just let people, explode on screen. I'm down for that. No, we don't need her in big budget movie making anymore with a bunch of people telling her what to do. Just let her do whatever she wants on a small budget. And clearly between this and Nomadland, like she makes great movies.
Yeah.
I know Zach liked the Marvel movie she made, but
Eternals.
Right, the Eternals. It was fine. But this is her. I like this wheelhouse for her. What'd you think, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, everything we've talked about, I really enjoyed it. I love this type of revisionism, like re-exploring, coming up with this like, like maybe this is really about this, and like let's connect the dots. I think that's really a fun use of re-exploring something, in a new way. And I thought it did it really well, and it kind of spent the whole movie setting that up, right? So, and then for just a really good payoff at the end.
Mm-hmm.
What my guess is, or my question for you guys is, how familiar with Hamlet do you need to be in order for that payoff to land at 100%?
How familiar with the original play?
With the play, yeah, or the storyline.
I don't remember much about the original play.
verbiage. Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't. I definitely couldn't quote Hamlet, other than maybe like the most popular ones. I could recognize if somebody quoted it. I probably couldn't do it off the top of my head. So it was a non-factor for me.
Okay.
How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, so I've seen Hamlet, I've read it, I'm pretty familiar with it. It helped having that context of like, oh yeah, Hamlet's about, a death of a father and the son avenging, and sort of that connection there. And then you hear Hamnet, the character himself, say, oh, I want to be one of your characters in the sword fight someday. And then like oh, you see the ending of Hamlet, which is a basically a big sword fight. I will say for me, what this movie made me actually think about was, what is the meaning behind the famous speech, "To be or not to be"? I've never thought about it. Like I know the words,
really?
I've heard it. Yeah,
Okay.
I never thought like, oh, is it about suicide?
It's 100% about suicide.
It's and that never crossed my mind at all. Because again, for me, Shakespeare is always so academic and so like arm's length away that I never felt the emotions behind the words. I just knew the words, like it was recitative. And then to like hear Paul Mescal deliver that in this moment of anguish in that scene, I was like, oh, this speech is about suicide. I never thought about it. And then like, oh, it's about the fear of the unknown. It's such a deep speech that I just never thought about whatsoever. So
there's something.
This movie got me think.
This Billy guy, yeah,
this Billy Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I do remember, Zach, in middle school, we had like a poetry unit where we all had to recite a poem.
Yeah.
And didn't you recite that speech?
Yeah, the "To be or not to be" soliloquy. My dad told me once that everyone should have some monologue memorized, and so I memorized the "To be or not." I still know it, the "To be or not to be" soliloquy, and yeah. Although for that unit that you're talking about in Miss Fogel's class,
yeah,
I actually did the Rise of the Hesperus.
Oh, okay. I must. Did you ever do "To be or not to be" for a class project, or is that
not for school? But I just knew it personally, so maybe you'd heard me say it once.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I must be conflating things. I forgot about the Rise of Hesperus. My bad.
That's right. Another good one.
I did "Chicken Soup for the Soul."
What is that? Is that a poem or like an entry from "Chicken Soup for the Soul"?
No, it's a poem, but it's like. It's long because it's like in March I'll do this, in May I'll do this, but it's like the same meter for every single one, so it's super easy to like memorize because you just got to keep the meter, and then like the last two lines are always the same because I was lazy in 8th grade. I don't want to memorize a poem, so yeah.
I also memorized "Ladle Red Rotten Hut" for Mr. Lapointe.
Ladle Red Rotten what?
Do you remember "Ladle Red Rotten Hut"?
No. Ladle Rotten Hut.
Was this a Jerky Boys thing?
It's a very old no. It's a very old like radio thing. I don't know exactly the origin of it, but it's super old. And it's the story of Ladle Rat Rotten Hut.
I don't remember this.
Do you want to hear the very beginning of it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So think of a game where you like mispronounce, like you say actual words, but like you're like mumbling it and people have to guess what you're actually saying.
Oh, like
What's that
Balderdash
game?
or something
Gap.
like that.
Mad
Yeah,
Gap.
Mad Gap. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's once upon term der worsted little gull who lift wetter murder in a ladle cordage on her itch off her lodge dock florist. This little gull orphan worry ladle rat hut importus raisin pimple called her ladle rat rotten hut.
Okay, this is all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Now I remember this. Yes. I did not know you memorized that though.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
cool.
to be impressed or to cringe right now.
Cringe is fine. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is why you don't have to cringe too hard. Is you've both known me for a very long time, and this is not something I've ever bragged to you about or like
That's true.
held
That is true.
aloft.
Sure.
So
sure.
that would be more cringe. But yeah.
I agree. You've never presented this as an actual cool thing to have
Right.
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe that
Amazing.
helps a little bit. But those are the two things I memorized for middle school.
Did I ever tell you when my my ninth grade English teacher took me aside because I turned in 9 Inch Nails lyrics for my poetry assignment?
As your poetry?
As my poetry.
Oh, no. Okay.
And they knew actual 9 Inch Nails.
Well, she told us, no. She told us to bring in poetry that spoke to us.
Okay.
Oh, that's legitimate then.
And I just wrote down 9 Inch Nails lyrics.
Yeah.
And then she, at the end of class, asked me to stay back and wanted to make sure everything was okay with me.
Did you like bring in Hurt or something? Like which song did
I
you
don't
bring
even
in?
remember
Eraser?
what it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was enough that she felt the need to check in with me.
Okay, that's probably.
And I explained where they came from, and it was fine. But Miss Chloé was a kind soul who wanted to make sure I was still good.
So she's looking out for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was also like the associate debate coach.
Mhm.
So she was probably closer to me than most students because I was the debate. Well, at that time I wasn't a debate captain, but I was one of the debate students. So she knew me more than like your average student, I would say.
Right.
Anyway,
I really hope you brought in the lyrics to Reptile.
I mean, we're talking like Downward Spiral era. So
exactly. I know. I'm just trying to think of like any song on Downward Spiral that would be acceptable to turn in as a ninth grade poetry.
Yeah.
unit.
If a ninth grader turned in those lyrics and didn't tell you where they came from,
Yeah.
you might wonder what's going on with them. For sure.
Okay.
Anyway, what were we talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, for me, this movie got me thinking about Shakespeare in a new light.
Mhm.
Obviously, that final scene of the performance of Hamlet was incredible, and again, the emotional journey that Jessie Buckley's character goes just in that one scene of like being appalled and being, offended, and then all of a sudden you see the reverence and the love behind it all. It's like, man, there is a lot going on in this movie.
Sure.
That she is conveying to us, the viewer. Like she knocks out of the park in this movie.
I agree. I mean, when I think about this movie, I can't think of anything I would add or subtract to it. It feels like, short of maybe the emotions, it makes me feel that like uncomfortability, sadness, those types of things. I'm not criticizing the movie for that. It just it plays on those in a respectful way, but it definitely plays on those and wants you to feel those. But yeah, I just can't imagine what this movie would look like in any other form other than this one. It feels perfect for what it wants to be, which is why I'm curious why it's not perfect in y'all's star ranking. So explain yourselves.
You both
have glazed this a lot without any real criticism. So I want to hear real criticism of it.
So everyone who I talked to who saw it, like, just said like how sad it was and how they were crying the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe because I knew what was coming, like I felt bad,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't like, E.T. bawling like, oh, how terrible this all is.
Sure.
So maybe and this is because I knew what was going to happen. I missed like that little emotional connection to make this movie like as raw as some people were getting out of it.
Sure. So if it had destroyed your evening, it would have been a 5-star movie.
If I was just done for the night, then like 5 stars right there. Yep.
Fair enough. Zach?
Yeah. I don't have any major criticisms of this movie. It's just to get to the 4.5, 5-star level, it has to be something that I become obsessed with or like impacts me in some personal way that I'm going to carry forward. You know what I mean? Like it has to have this like deep resonance. And more, I found this movie to be super interesting, well crafted. I think it has a reason to exist. I enjoyed watching it. I think it nailed the ending, but it didn't have like a deep resonance for me in a way that was personal, that like I was like, oh, this is got to be a 5-star movie for me, you know?
Sure. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, Zach's just saying he can't connect with the death of a child. It just doesn't seem like something that would resonate with him.
Well, I can't picture naming a child Hamnet.
That's the big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that Agnes, and she pronounced it differently, her name is also Anne, and her name's actually Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, she's Anne Hathaway.
She's Anne Hathaway.
That's how I've always known her as, is Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, right, exactly. And then like Agnes was a possible pronunciation of that.
Was Anne Hathaway named after Shakespeare's wife?
I mean, she had to have been, right?
I would think so.
Like, basically, they're saying, you're a theater kid, Anne Hathaway.
Sure. Interesting. Okay. Anything else on Hamnet? All right. Well, like we did with Secret Agent, let's talk awards for this movie. Academy Awards. It was nominated for 8, I believe, including Best Picture. To me, in a top 10 contenders of the year, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Best Director. Again, I feel like this has a strong director fingerprint on it.
Mm-hmm.
Best Actress. Makes total sense to me.
Yep.
It's hers to lose, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Best Adapted Screenplay. A little difficult because we don't know what the original source material really.
Sure.
We didn't read that. I wonder, like, for Best Adapted, they don't make everybody read the original, clearly. So how do people judge that?
I think they're saying that this is the best screenplay that was not original. Gotcha. So
they're not necessarily saying this was adapted the best.
Correct. Yeah. It's not saying like, oh, wow, this is so true to the original source material, or wow, they really captured it. I think they're saying, hey, this is a strong screenplay that's based on something else.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Best Casting.
I'm really curious by the Best Casting Award. Like, is it going to go to a movie that has like an all-star cast, like one after another, or is it going to go to something like The Secret Agent, which has a bunch of just faces that feel so real?
I think Secret Agent has better casting.
Oh, I agree. I just don't know, like, what is the criteria for the whoever's giving out this, like the voters? Are they looking at star power? Are they looking at I don't know what the criteria is. Yeah,
is good casting getting Brad Pitt to be in your F1 movie, or is it, I don't know,
getting a bunch of unknown faces that feel like they're from 1970s Brazil?
Right. Yeah. To me, the more challenging is the Brazil one.
Agreed. Yep.
But also, would F1 work better with Paul Mescal in the lead role? Probably not. I think the fact that Brad Pitt's in it helps that movie a lot.
I do think that's good casting too.
It would have been fine, but just not near as successful with the dads at home, I would say, as putting Brad. I mean, look at the marketing for that movie. Yeah. It's all just Brad Pitt.
It's just
monolith in the middle of a poster with a car behind him.
Like, you like cars and Brad Pitt?
Right.
Come see this movie.
And Brad Pitt, dudes will watch him and girls will watch him. So he's
I believe kind of a chicks is the word you're looking for.
I was going to go with broads, but I decided not to.
No, that'd be the worst choice.
Right. No, the worst choice is a totally different word that I'm not going to say.
Okay. That'd be of the words you can say, the broads would be the worst choice.
Sure. So. Best costume design.
I mean, this kind of movie always gets that nomination.
Yeah. I mean, the costumes look authentic. They have also been done a million times before. Like, there's nothing new here, but it's fitting for the time period for sure. Best production design. I would say, again, there's not a whole lot new here until the theater scene. The theater scene, like the production design on that was pretty spectacular.
Isn't it fun that the actors in the Hamlet scene are like worse actors than all of the actors in the movie. You know, I find that fun.
It's got to be difficult to play good enough for the time period, but also like fake acting badly, time period appropriate badly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the challenge that is. Best original score. Honestly, I don't remember the music in this movie. I think I was too sucked in to even like clock what the music was doing to me. I'm sure it's great, but I don't remember it.
I do remember the music, and it's not what you expect. It's much more romantic.
Okay.
It's more orchestral. Like a lot of movies now have subtler, smaller scores with like piano and a little bit of strings. And this movie just had a much bigger sound to it than I was expecting. So for me, the music did stand out.
Okay. Nice. Cool.
For Kyle,
Yeah.
I would say it's okay if you're not super into Shakespeare, but if you have a really good performer perform Shakespeare, it just comes alive on the page. Like there is nothing like seeing Shakespeare performed by a really good actor that like takes away all of the obstacles to enjoying Shakespeare.
What is there a Shakespeare movie you would recommend?
So you want like specifically a really good movie adaptation?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Romeo and Juliet does accomplish that. Like you can very much follow along with what's happening, even though it's the original language.
Sure.
Didn't we watch a Shakespeare movie directed by the Coen brothers that had like Denzel Washington in it?
Oh, I love that one. That was Macbeth.
Yeah. And so Macbeth is one of my, I think that one, Macbeth's one of my favorites. And I did not connect with that one for whatever reason. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
There's a couple of monologues from the Royal Shakespeare Theater, which I'm going to send you, Kyle.
Please do. Yeah.
That are so great.
Nice. All right. So a 4, a 4.5, and a 5-star for Hamnet. Thank you for joining us for this episode 716 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. As always, don't forget, check out the video version of the podcast on YouTube, support us on Patreon, leave us an Apple Podcast review, or send us an email. Links are in the description for any and all of those things. You can also follow the podcast on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Cinereelists. You could follow me on my personal Letterboxd or Blue Sky account at YoJRB.
You follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd at Shaban.
You can find me on Letterboxd at Peter SKB.
We'll be back next week playing some movie games. We know which games, but we're not announcing them, so you'll have to at least click play to figure out what they are. Actually, it'll probably be in the title, but we're going to pretend like you at least have to click play.
You have to click on the episode to find out.
Right.
And maybe that'll cause autoplay to kick in, and then you're stuck listening. So.
Right. Then you won't be able to turn it off. It'll be so riveting. Regardless whether it's riveting or not, we will be there with episode 717 in 1 week. We'll see you guys there. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.